All right, we're live.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, I am. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm here. Oh, yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I'm on mute. Yes, I'm here. Okay. Okay. So here's the deal. This is the Black Westchester Power Hour. We're normally on WVOX Live, and because of Corona, we can't do that today. So usually when we're in the studio, Damon is going live on Facebook. We're actually going to do it. We're doing it on video and going live and putting the video and putting the audio on VOX over my phone. So it's a little different. Bear with us. But we're trying to navigate through this new technology and all this new normals, and everything has changed for everybody. So I got my partner Damon K Jones, of course, with us, and we have Louisa. What is your last name, Louisa? I can't pull it.
McTurner?
McTurner.
McTurner. Louisa. I just know Weezie D. And that was doing it for me with the last name. So we got Louisa McTurner, who owns a black owned boutique in Bronxville, um, called Weezie D that we spotlighted once or twice in Black Westchester newspaper. Um, okay, so we're about to go on live on VOX. Uh, we're about to go live on VOX. Yes. So everything we say is going to be heard on VOX right now. Music still playing. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is AJ Woodson along with Damon K. Jones, and we have our guest, Louisa McTurner. You are listening to the Black Westchester Power Hour live on WVOX 1460, and also live on Facebook. Damon, say what's up to the people real quick.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? What's
Okay.
happening?
You may or may not have seen the story that we did this week about a black-owned boutique in Bronxville that is facing sort of like a forced eviction, despite the governor issuing a state eviction moratorium. She just received a letter from the landlord's lawyer saying basically you have to be out by May 31st, and there's no, they haven't gone to court. They cannot go to court because the moratorium is till at least June 20th. So up until that point, they can't even go to court. They're just trying to force her out. Um, this is Louisa McTurner. She owns the shop Weezie D. Say hello to the people.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, AJ and Damon, for having me and allowing me to share my story to hopefully help others.
Right. It might be a little bit feedback. I have the phone and the computer going on at the same time. So tell everybody. So I've did the story. I've spoke with you. You've been in business for what? Has it been 15 years in that same location?
Yes, 15 years. Actually, in 2005, when we first opened, I was right next door in a smaller space. And then I was approached by my neighbor to move into the space that I'm in, if I would be interested in moving into the space that I'm in so he can expand. So between those 3 years and then 12 years, I've been a total of 15 years in Bronxville.
Now, when you switched from the original spot you were in to the spot you in now, did you change landlords or was it the same landlord?
Different landlords.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
So you've had the shop. So that was the first few years. About 12 years you've been in the spot you're in now.
yes.
And what was your relationship with your landlords?
The relationship with the landlord was good. It was two attorneys. Those were my landlords. However, about 2 years ago, the first landlord that I really corresponded with often, he really was the tenant's point person. He passed away. And then about a year ago, the other attorney that was the second landlord passed away. So there was some change of ownership and some reorganization. So the two attorneys that passed, they left, their piece of their business to a wife and brother. So in the recent year and a half, I've been dealing with a wife and brother, pretty much, in terms of landlord.
Now, I understand they didn't renew your lease. When did your lease actually end?
Oh, my lease was up some years now. I've been trying to get a new lease for a while.
What's a while? A year, 2 years, 5 years?
We're talking about maybe about 5-6 years. It's been.
Really?
Yes.
So they just been doing the month-to-month thing for you.
Yes.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, did you request for a lease?
Yes, I requested from a lease for from the original landlords, the gentleman, the first landlord that passed away. I requested one from him, and I just kept getting the runaround. Okay, and then both landlords passed, and then now I'm dealing with a wife, and she hired a property manager. So it's just been a lot of change back and forth, and I never got a new lease. Now I've been paying rent. I've been behind in rent. We have our moments. January and February are always very slow months for us. They always give us an opportunity to catch up. We always catch up. And so there really was not a reason to renew my lease.
Right. But what was their response to you when you asked for an official lease to sign?
That I'm in arrears, or they want me to catch up, and I would always catch up, and then they just never gave it to me. They never gave me a new lease.
Right.
So now moving forward, the property is sold. Who was the property sold to?
So just to back up, in March, the beginning of March, when the pandemic started to happen, but we weren't officially closed, the landlord, the wife, is also my customer. Ironically, she came into my store and we had some dialogue, and I asked her, will you guys consider giving me a new lease? And she says, yes, once you're able to catch up with some of your arrears. So we had that conversation. A couple weeks later, I found out from the property management company that the building was sold and that now I have to deal with my new landlord. So she's known for months that the building was under contract and they were not going to give me a new lease.
Right.
They've taken my money. We've had conversations, had dialogues, and it was just a promise. It was always just a promise. And I've never been in this situation before, to be honest. I've never been in a situation like this before where I'm asking for a lease. I've been there for years. I pay my rent. I do what they ask me to do. And nothing ever came of it.
So now the building is sold, and who's it sold to?
So the building is sold to my neighbor, fellow merchant next door. He owns the bagel store. I was told that he is my.
Is this the same neighbor who asked you to move over? Who you moved over so he could expand his business? Is this the same neighbor?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. We had a good relationship. My fellow merchants in the community. I patronize his business. My family does. We would exchange friendly, grievances, whatever, with his landlord. He would talk to me about. We had a good relationship. So when I found out that he was the owner, part of me felt like, okay, maybe, he'd be willing to give me a new lease. Once I found out, I have his cell phone number. I called him right away. We had I thought, a healthy exchange. He told me, Louisa, once you're able to get some funding, and you can get up to date with your arrears, I have no problem giving you a new lease. Don't worry, nobody's getting kicked out, because now he owns not only my store, he also owns the two other stores next to me and the offices above me. So he told me, don't worry, no one's getting kicked out. But I'm the only non-essential business. So I'm the only business that has zero revenue. And then if you want me to continue, after our conversation that we had, a couple weeks later, I started to get correspondence from his attorney. And the correspondence is what I sent to you.
Right. And basically that was a letter telling you that basically you needed to be out by May 31st.
Yes.
No, right.
Oh.
And disregards everything, the executive order of the governor, which I haven't taken that in consideration. And as far as the governor's executive order, it didn't make any exceptions. It just said no evictions. So I think that's crazy. And even if they have to take you to court, and there's no judge is going to evict you while we're going on this pandemic. Especially you had a business that you might have felt everybody falls behind now and then for whatever reason, especially when you are you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner. It happens. And this pandemic is really crazy that they want to evict you, especially somebody that actually knows you, and knows the work that you have done.
I want to say real quick. I want to add in real quick. So, because I looked this up, the moratorium covers both residential and commercial tenants, and will be in place until at least June 20th. If you have a pending eviction case, those proceedings have been temporarily adjourned. If you've recently received a notice of eviction, that by itself is not enough for your landlord to evict you. I'm going to finish reading this, but on VOX, we're about to go to commercial. For those on VOX, we'll be right back. That in itself is not enough to evict you. A landlord must get an order from a court to legally evict a tenant, even if their lease has expired and they are behind on their rent. The moratorium defers those proceedings and temporarily protects tenants.
AJ, where are you reading this from?
This is I'm reading it from actually the story, because I got it from the there was two things. There was a moratorium, the executive order the executive order, and then there was a second piece. I don't have that in front of me right now, but I made notes to it.
So they're saying to June 1st. When is the
June 20th?
June 20th, right? So I think that a letter should be sent to the landlord and the lawyer explaining that executive order, and that they can't even start eviction proceedings against her, according to what you read from the New York State Governor's office, until after June 20th.
Right, and then at that point they could possibly get a 30-day notice, which takes you to almost the end of July. At the very earliest, if courts open back up at that time, because courts are literally closed right now. On top of that,
right. I want to wait till we come back to the VOX. Yeah, because we want to explain that again, and we also want to talk about Louisa was telling me the email from the mayor, which I think that it was a great start to moving to try to stop what these landlords are doing.
Also, I heard from Nicole Benjamin in Yonkers. She sent the letter. She sent the story out to the county exec and everybody in a passionate email about we need to protect this business. It was a very powerful email.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
So for all of y'all listening on Facebook right now, we are actually live on our show, our monthly show on WVOX. This is a commercial point right now. So we're just talking, and you'll hear me say now we're going back live. So I know this is a little new, so I wanted to explain this to everybody. This is the Black Westchester Power Hour with AJ Woodson and Damon K Jones, and we have as our guest Louisa McTurner, the owner of Weezie D, a Black-owned Bronxville boutique, ladies boutique. Okay, we are about to go back live in a minute. Intro music playing. Welcome back. This is AJ Woodson with Damon K Jones. You are listening to the Black Westchester Power Hour. Our guest today is Black-owned lady boutique owner Louisa McTurner of the shop Weezie D, a ladies boutique that's been in business for about 15 years. I just want to say also I've gotten several comments from people that I know who shop, who are your customers, including my cousin, who's a doctor and the head of medical up at Children's Village, Tracy Gardner, and she speaks highly of you. And I've received several other people who have spoke highly of you and your business. So I just wanted to share that. So I don't know where we left off as far as before we went to the commercial, but I was reading what the and it's from our story, what the moratorium covers. And I just want to read that part again because I think it's very important. So this moratorium is it's a statewide eviction moratorium. It was an executive order from the governor. The moratorium covers both residential and commercial tenants and will be in place until at least June 20th. If you have a pending eviction case, those proceedings have been temporarily adjourned. If you receive a notice of eviction, that by itself is not enough for your landlord to evict you. A landlord must get an order from a court to legally evict a tenant, even if their lease has expired and they are behind in their rent. Now that evictions are halted, the moratorium defers those proceedings and temporarily protects the tenants. And the reason that I wanted to definitely highlight the last part, even if the lease has expired and they are behind on their rent, because there were some that commented to the story and be like, oh, she was behind on the rent, her business is not successful, or oh, she didn't have a lease. And it doesn't matter.
Right.
Under this moratorium, she is protected, and you need a court order to evict someone. Now, I just want to say in my research, and Louisa, you can tell me if you think I'm wrong. So the owner, and what you explained, there's two different landlords, is why I asked that question. So the owner still is paying rent to another landlord, even though he now owns this building. And by getting you out, he can move into the building that he owns and eliminate his rent to another landlord. I think that part that's what I've discovered. And does that sound about right to you?
Yes, it does. I mean, to my understanding, because I know the landlord that he has, because that was my landlord when I first moved in 2005. To my understanding, he still owns that building, my first landlord. So yes, that's what it would make sense to me, that's what his motive is.
I mean, and real truthfully, if I owned the building, I wouldn't want to pay other people rent. I'd want to be in my own building. But I think there's also ways that could have been handled, maybe negotiating with the current landlord that he has about y'all swapping, and then that you're now under that landlord and you get a lease. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to just saying you have to be going in 30 days and by the end of the month.
The thing is that none of the landlords have been honest with me. That's the thing. If they had no plans of renewing my lease, all they had to do was tell me that your lease is not going to be renewed, and I would have made other plans to move my business. That's the thing. That's what I'm trying to drive home. They've been stringing me along for a long time, and then now that I have a new landlord, which is my neighbor that knows me, I consider him a friend. He could have told me, Louisa, I'm going to move into your business or whatever he wants to do. he could have told me that he's not giving me a new lease, and I would have tried to make arrangements to move. But to do this right now at my most debilitating, crippling time, where my hands are tied and I can't move my business anywhere, that's putting me completely out of business. Whether that was my first landlord, the wife, the brother, or even this new landlord, they could have just said, we're not going to renew your lease, and that would have been it. And I would have started to make other arrangements. But they've been stringing me along, and I took them at their word. I shouldn't have. I took them at their word because they're still taking my money. I just gave them a check in January for $10,000. They're still taking all my money, and then at the end of the day, they're not giving me a lease.
So do you currently still own rent though? You gave them a check for $10,000. What period was that for? That $10,000.
So that was for, I think that was probably December, January. So right now I owe $12,000.
Okay, which is what? February, March, April, May?
That's for February, March. That's for January, February, March.
Okay. I want to point out too, because of a lot of comments. So as the editor-in-chief of Black Westchester and partner with Damon, January and February are always our slowest months as far as advertising. You've come through the holidays. Organizations are working on their new budget for the new year. And it's always a hard time for us, getting the paper out and doing everything we do. So for a lot of businesses, that is a tough time of the year. So I just want to reiterate, you've had this happen before. You've had this relationship with your landlord. You fell behind sometimes in January or February, but then did you always make good in March and April?
Well, yeah, I've always made good with my landlords. They would never have kept me for 15 years if I wasn't making good with my word. I'm sorry, that's the bottom line. They could have kicked me out of my business before when I've been in arrears. I have every January and February and March. Honestly, I always fall behind. And I don't think it's just Weezie D. I think a lot of businesses fall, retail businesses. 2019 was my hardest year. They knew this.
We're going to, on WVOX, we're about to go to commercial. We will be right back. It's the Black Westchester Power Hour. We will be back after these words. Okay, we're still talking on Facebook. I just want to let y'all know. So we're actually going to commercial on WVOX. I want to address a couple of things we're going to address when we come back. I want to give you an opportunity to address issues, and one that we spoke about that came up about payroll and employees and stuff like that. We're definitely going to hit that next. Again, for everybody tuning in, this is our monthly show, the Black Westchester Power Hour, live on WVOX 1460 AM. We're on the first Monday every month. Because of this whole social distancing stuff, the last 2-3 months, we have not been doing it in the studio. We've been doing it like this. And when we were live in the studio, Damon would use his phone or Amiibo, and we would broadcast live on Facebook. So we're doing it the opposite way today. We're having this discussion on Facebook, and I'm using my phone to air our conversation on WVOX. So we're being a little creative here. So we still keep our show, and we tackle the issues like this. David, do you have any comments or questions at this point?
No, I am so tired of watching Black people be oppressed, even when they're trying to do right. Like just listening to it and understanding, business and also going through what I went through with my family in their shop. When people try to use their power to shut a shop down just because they can, it really upsets me and I know, what she's going through, and when people just try to oppress you and not even, I mean, we said it, if they wanted you to go, there were better ways to do it. To be honest about it, just be honest about it. But to me, this goes to just the lack of disrespect, for Black people. Like if you was a white woman, would they treated you the same way? Would they show the disrespect? Would they be dishonest with you? And here you are, trying to live the American dream and be and own your own business and just, I mean, I'm just pissed off, man, and it's real sad, but the main goal is, as I said before, is to how do we, get you through this period, and that you're able to, get out of there, because it's a toxic relationship. And even if you're able to stay, they're going to try to do something else, to you. And that's not good, man. And that's not good at all. So, I hope we could use this moment, for other Black business owners and other minority owners, to understand the trials and tribulations that Black business owners go through. And your story is not new. It has happened before to other people, but we have to deal with you, the here and now, and how do we, get through this? And I just hope that letters are sent, let them know what the actual law is, and I hope and pray that the mayor, with our heartfelt letter, will actually do something, that this is not political propaganda, that she will actually do something to help you out, right now. And what's the owner's name, and what is his business? What type of business does he have?
The new landlord, he is right next door to me, Park Place Bagels. That's the name of his business.
And is he open?
We're about to come back on too.
We're about to come back on.
Yeah. Welcome back. This is the Black Westchester Power Hour on WVOX and on Facebook Live with Damon K. Jones and AJ Woodson. Our guest today, Louisa McTurner, who is the owner of a Black-owned boutique in Bronxville, a ladies' boutique, who has received the letter that she has to move by the 31st, despite the state eviction moratorium. And I wanted to address a couple of things. One, there was a couple of comments, and I want to give you a chance to answer. Why haven't you switched to selling your products online? Reader, one listener is asking.
We are online. Once the pandemic started hitting New York, before we closed our store, I did put my products online. So our website is www.weezied.com. So we are an e-commerce now online.
Now, that doesn't take the place. Go ahead.
I just want to add to that. A lot of people. This is a boutique, and a lot of people don't understand when you deal with a boutique. It's hands on, right? It's like to be hands on. It's easy to say, why are you online? But certain things has to be hands on. When you at a boutique, you got to touch, you got to try it on, you got to see. So it's not that easy to say, right? And I like clothes too, right? And I bought my wife some jogging outfits and stuff like that online, and I get it, and it don't fit, right? Because certain women sizes, or you say you're a medium in this and then medium in that. So just to be online does not mean you're going to pivot with this style of store, right? So I want to make that clear, because to say you got to be online is a easy out, because a lot of stores like a boutique, it's hands on. So I mean, she said she pivoted is online, but still
Yeah.
it's still an uphill struggle
I
when you're
just,
dealing
I,
with this style store.
I wanted to add to that. When I opened in 2005, my blueprint was to be a traditional boutique where you're getting good service. That was my blueprint. I'm not personally an online shopper. I like going into stores, getting the service. And so that's one of the reasons why I opened Weezie D. As years went on, because again, it's been 15 years, and the web has been such a booming business, I started to think about a website, but also putting a website together is not the easiest thing, as a small business. I'm running my business, my vehicle every day in and day out. So to put up an online wasn't the easiest thing for me. So it is up now, but prior, I didn't have the time, I didn't have the resources, and I was focused on my in-store business. That is, our bread and butter.
I want to add to that, as the editor of Black Westchester, as the co-owner with Damon, and and the person that does a lot of the hands-on, everyday, day-to-day stuff. People are always saying, "Oh, you should try this and you should try that," and all these great ideas. It's just small business. You're making a difference in everything, but you're small business, and you're getting your way. You're clawing your way through. You're making a way. And again, like you said, I can respect that, not having time. There are things that we had Dr. Bob had to come in and do. And, I actually had Damon do a little bit more stuff, because it's just like there's not enough time in the day to do everything. So I definitely understand what you're saying. I wanted to give you a chance to address a comment that was sent to me about, you talked about every January and February being slow. So how does that translate into, I'm sure you have some employees either being back pay, having to lay employees off and then bring them back. How does that work every year when you are in these situations?
Oh, so payroll is always a top priority for me. So when I'm in January and February, they're still getting paid. All my employees are getting paid monthly. They get paid bi-weekly, all the time. So even though I'm still during those months, that might affect my paying my landlord, but it's never affected me paying my employees.
Right. So one person we know actually talked about a particular person that hadn't been paid by you since December, and this has been going on for a year and a half, and basically made it sound like you had some labor violations or something. So would you like to speak to that a little bit?
Yes. So like I said earlier, 2019 was a difficult year for me for many reasons. I had personal health issues in August. I was out for 2 months. The employee that I had at that time and still have now, I discussed it with her. I was out for 2 months. I asked her, can you please help me through this difficult time? If not, I understand. She said, Miss Louisa, don't worry about it. We continue to work together. However, I did fall behind in paying her. We have a great relationship. There was never a month that she did not get a paycheck. But during the time that I was out for, I think it was about 6-7 weeks, she was helping me along. And that's not out of the norm for employees and employers to help each other during a difficult time. So she was helping me. That's what that is about. But to say that I have employee violations and I don't pay my employees, that is the furthest from the truth. If that was the case, the employee that she's talking about would not have continued working with me. She's still working with me, and we have a great relationship. I just spoke with her yesterday. We've been talking throughout this pandemic, and now, again, she moved. I just got her address. and the payroll that was due her has been mailed to her. But
so for the record, that individual has been officially paid up to date as of right now.
Yes. Even though I don't have revenue, yes, she's been paid up to date. So to use that as a blanket statement, to make that type of a statement, all of my employees have always been on the books. They have always been paid. I owe no employee any money. So, but that's what happens when that's what it gets a little scary, putting your story out. Like, I'm putting this story out with me and my landlord. But you're going to have people that are going to say whatever to say that I'm this or I'm that. And that's not the truth. So that's my comment to that.
I wanted to give you a chance to address that. I mean, that is a serious situation, and this is your opportunity to clear up stuff like that. So I noticed that you do have the online store. I know, like I said, again, my cousin just told me she purchased something from you. You were you had a GoFundMe page going to help you with the relocation or whatever. Would you like to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so leading up to the days when Cuomo said that we had to close non-essential businesses, I was in my store, just trying to figure everything out and process everything. While I was in my store, a couple of my customers knocked on the door, and, they were just giving me their thoughts, their sentiments, and showing compassion. And they gave me an idea to put up a GoFundMe page so that people can donate in a safe manner. Now, this was before I knew that I was going to be kicked out of the location. So I said, okay, we'll go ahead and put up a GoFundMe page. The GoFundMe page is up. If you go under Weezie D, help Weezie D, they'll find the GoFundMe page. But I've pivoted.
I just shared the link to the story. It's in there too. The link is in the story. Go ahead.
Thank you. So,
okay. For people on WVOX, we're going to the commercial. This is the Black Westchester Power Hour. We'll be back after these words. Yeah, we're still going on Facebook. Again, for everybody who's just tuning in, with our monthly show on WVOX, the Black Westchester Power Hour, every first Monday. Because of the social distancing, we are doing it on Facebook and we're airing it live on WVOX at the same time. So via the telephone. So that's why we're cutting to commercial right now on VOX, but we will continue talking here on Facebook. I just want to get everybody in there. Damon, you look like you had a question or something. Was you about to say something? Or?
No, I'm just. I was. Y'all was talking. I was responding to people on the thing. One, Tamika Douglas was talking about credit and loans, and I was discussing with her that this issue is not about credit and loans. This issue is about them not trying to give you a lease when you have asked for a lease, and then trying to proceed to evict you and sending you a notice that you have to be out of your store by when was it? The 31st.
May 31st.
Right. May 31st, which that is in violation of the state executive order of Governor Cuomo. So, I mean, this goes, it doesn't go in, we're discussing that. All businesses are making transitions into online and seeing how they could continue to keep revenue, even cutting back on employees. It is what it is. We get that. But when you blatantly try to remove somebody, being a landlord and trying to remove somebody after there is an executive order, this is the greatest problem that we're having. And I don't think,
and it's a scare tactic actually, because
exactly.
A lot of people, they don't have a lawyer, money for a lawyer, they're behind in their rent, you can't afford legal advice or whatever, and you just take what you receive from your landlord's lawyer verbatim and you move. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
It's not actually legal. Now, we were talking about loans and stuff and everything like that. There have been the small business, the SBA loans and all that. Have you looked into that? Have you filed for that?
Yes, once New York, I was watching the SBA, once New York was considered a disaster, and everything started happening, and New York was a part of that, because I had to wait for New York to be a part of the SBA loan. I applied to it right away. I applied to the disaster relief loan. I applied to the PPP program. I've done everything that I can to exhaust what the government is supposed to be helping small businesses with. I don't know one small business, and I have several people that I know in Bronxville, nobody has received any funding from the SBA. Whatever you see on TV, it is not so. A lot of small businesses like me, under 20 employees, under 5 employees, it's not that simple. And the PPP program is for employee retention. That's 75% of it has to go towards employees to keep them on your payroll.
Let me stop you real quick. We are about to go back live. We're back on the Black Westchester Power Hour on WVOX 1460 AM with Damon K. Jones and AJ Woodson and our guest, Louisa McTurner from Weezie D Ladies Boutique. Continuing, we're talking about you filing for us SBAs and stuff like that. So finish your statement.
Yeah, so I was just saying that, we've applied to everything. The disaster relief loan, they have strict, qualifications for trying to get an SBA loan. The disaster relief loan goes based on credit, assets, and all that stuff. Then you have the PPP program, and that is for pretty much 75% of it is for employee retention, to keep them on board for, I think, 7 or 8 weeks of payroll. So that's what that is for. You can only use 25% of that for other expenses, and it would be considered a grant. However, when you only have a few employees, it's based on employees. So businesses like myself, we're getting a few $1,000s, maybe $2,000 or so. It's based on your employees. That's what it's based on. So when you see big businesses, they're getting millions of dollars because they have a big staff. So I think people have this notion in their head that, small businesses are getting all this money, and that is not the case.
I just want to clarify. I'm seeing comments, and I just want to clarify. Yes, one of our listeners said their family member got theirs. There have been. I've spoke to a lot of businesses. A lot of small businesses are not getting this. Businesses like the Lakers were getting millions of dollars, and Chris Roof were getting millions of dollars from the Small Business Administration thing. And they're $1 million corporations with, publicly traded and all that. Both the Lakers and Chris Roof have given the money back. But this is where the money was going, because when they made this legislation, there was no distinction between a small business like yourself and the Lakers, which is $1 billion corporation. So I'm not understanding how that happens.
I have a problem with the loan anyway. I'm not applying for nothing because that's more debt, right? So you're going to take it on. So this is what they're having small businesses do, right? They're not making any money now, and they're going to take on a loan. Even if it's a small interest loan, even if it's 1%, 2%, that's debt. That's added debt. And now, and just like you said, some of that is supposed to go to employees. So you're taking on debt to make payroll. You're taking on debt to make payroll. That's crazy, right? Because of the fact that because small businesses are not generating the actual revenue that the big businesses are, like the Lakers and all that have the type of funds in reserve, right, to move forward. So to me, it's another trap off. It's another trick to get people, to get small businesses more in debt, and it's hard because you're put between a rock and a hard place, because you have to get the loan, because you got to make payroll,
Sorry to interrupt you, Damon. While we don't have much time on VOX before the show is over, I did want you said you had a GoFundMe. I just wanted the opportunity to speak to that on the air, so it's on VOX as well.
Yeah, so as a couple days before non-essential businesses had to shut our doors, I was in my store and a couple of customers asked me to put up a GoFundMe page to help to be able to donate in a safe on a safe platform. So we went ahead and we did that, but that was prior to knowing that I was not going to get a lease renewal, and now I have to pivot my attention and resources to move my business. So it's been updated now because of the everything that I'm going through right now. But yes, we do have a GoFundMe page to possibly help me find another location. I mean, this is just all happening at the most crippling time for myself and all businesses. This isn't just a Louisa Weezie D issue. This is
Oh,
Did she freeze? Did we lose her?
she froze.
Yes.
their immediate bailout is that I'm sorry?
Oh,
Go
all
ahead.
right.
You froze for
Their
a minute. Go ahead.
immediate
Continue.
bailout is that their mortgage companies are pushing 3 months to the back of their loan. You know, so most landlords are not paying mortgages right now. But it's these same landlords like mine that are still pressing for their rent during this time. We don't have an immediate bailout. So our doors are shut, not because we just don't want to be open. We have zero revenue. They should be giving us some kind of grievance to be able to catch ourselves. We have no immediate bailout. We're waiting for loans. Who knows if we're ever going to get them? You know, we've been waiting. This loan was, my loan was processed the ending of March. Then when they passed the bill, I had to do a different form because they had some expedited SBA loan. So I went ahead and applied to that. I mean, this has been going on for some time now.
So you haven't heard you haven't heard back from about your loan.
All I've heard, I call every week. I'm on hold for 3 hours. All I've heard is that it's still pending, that a loan officer will contact me. That's what I've heard. Now, with the PPP program, you have to have a relationship with your bank. So I have a relationship with TD Bank, but you know how inundated these banks are. You know, they're inundated with businesses trying to get funds. So then, with the new bill that was passed when the money ran out, they say to people, "Oh, apply with a community bank." But it's not that simple, because if you don't have an account with a community bank, they're not going to help you get a loan. They're not helping you. So I had to deal with my commercial bank. So I'm still waiting. I haven't received anything. Everything is still pending. It's all pending. It's a bureaucracy. That's what this is.
So we're going to continue this conversation a little longer. We're coming to the end of the show on WVOX. Is there anything for the VOX audience? Is there any last words you want to say to, before the show ends?
You know, I am advocating not just for Weezie D. This is not just about Weezie D. I'm advocating for all small businesses, because I don't think people really understand what's going on between landlords and small businesses. This is not just happening to me. As things develop, you're going to see a lot of businesses, small businesses, in my situation. And it just seems like everyone is very, helpful towards restaurants. Restaurants can stay open. They're doing curbside.
Exactly.
They're able, yeah. So pretty much my neighbors are considered essential businesses. But it's the floral shops, it's the bookstores, it's the retail stores like Weezie D, it's the cleaners. We're the ones that's completely shuttered. And unless the only way that small businesses like myself will be able to come back is in a partnership with our landlords, with the community. That's the only way we're going to survive. So someone like me, they want me out. This is their opportunity to get me out. And that's really why I did this show. And that's why I went on the news. That is why I have, it's not just about Weezie D. I'm advocating for all small businesses. So thank you for the opportunity to talk about this.
No, thank you for coming. And you have exposed what many people are trying to find out that small businesses, are being had once again in this what they call a bailout, but small businesses are really not being bailed out. They're being left in the cold, like you said, while your landlord's mortgage is pushed in the back. They're making you pay for what they got to defer on, right? So it's definitely a trap off. Then you take out a loan, now you take out more debt, right? So I mean, it's really sad how they dealt with this, but that also, it goes back to what I always say: we have to really, as business people, we have to really evaluate our relationship with these politicians, whether it's state or federal or local, and how they write these legislations that cater to big business, and instead of the small businesses that really make the economy run. And my hats is off to you for taking a stand and keep us in the loop. And I really want to know what the mayor is going to do, and how she plans to help you with that.
I want to say one last thing on VOX, and we can continue and wrap up here a few more minutes later. But so as a response to the story, State Senator Shelley Mayers texted me to email you and tell you to email her. I mean, to have you email her so she could talk to you directly. So I passed that on to you, and then I heard from someone else that's affiliated with her. If you haven't heard from her, she's expecting to talk to you today. So hopefully something will come from that. I've reached out to Ruth Water, who is actually your county legislator, who's a friend of the show and has been on the show a little while. And we're going to continue to do those things. I want to thank everybody, the WVOX audience. Thank you to WVOX for allowing us to, for blessing us this time slot just to share, with their audience, our brand. This is the Black Westchester Power Hour, every first Monday on WVOX 1460 AM. Until next month, peace. Okay, and that's the end of our VOX show. But I just wanted to say thank you for doing this and for telling your story, because there are a lot of Black businesses, not just Black businesses, but we're Black Westchester, so we're dealing with Black businesses, Black and brown businesses. There's a lot of small businesses struggling right now. When this coronavirus is over, there's going to be a lot of businesses that are going to be evicted, and I mean that's just the way it's going to be. So and in our conversation before, obviously you're not wanted in that. That landlord does not want you, and I would not stay anywhere that I'm not wanted. And I think everybody who sees this story, all her customers that support her, that want to see the store on the other end of this, hit the GoFundMe. Damon shared the link. Check out her stuff online, see if you can purchase something online, to keep business going. For that, we're going to continue to cover the story into its completion. And for other people talking, I just want to say also, it's not just about this particular business, it's about business. And it's also about due process. And what is happening here is, yes, the News 12 did a story, and they talked to Ty Milburn, talked to the owner, and they're like, "Oh, it's not an eviction. It's not an eviction. It's technically it's not an eviction, but they're still sending you a letter. They're playing with it because it's not. It doesn't say eviction, but they're telling you be gone by May 31st. They're evicting you, but they're not doing it legally because they can't go to the courts and they can't file. So they're trying a scare tactic to push you out the door, to make you voluntarily leave so he can move over to his space in his building and no longer have to pay a landlord that he may owe money to. You know what I'm saying? Because, everybody's behind at this point. So, that's why I wanted to do this. And Black Westchester, we've had to navigate, as what we're doing right now. We had to navigate through this new normal. We had to readjust a couple of things, and we're still doing the readjustment. So, I feel for that, and I feel for all small Black businesses, all Black and brown businesses. We need to, and we as Black people, we also need to support our businesses. It's something we don't do, and recycle our dollars. It's something we don't do enough of. Anything I didn't ask you that you want to get out to the people?
Yeah, as a Black woman, business owner in Bronxville, I'm the only woman of color in the community, and I've received comments and different responses with me being there as a Black business owner. For me, I think it's important for not us just to be a consumer in these communities, affluent, white communities, but I think it's important for us to also be business owners in these communities as well. It, to me, is not just enough to be a consumer in these communities. We need business owners in these communities. We need to, hire Black and brown people. When you go into any of the stores in the community that Weezie D is in, you don't see us, so that's why it was important for me to open up in this community. I'm born and raised my whole life in Westchester. So that's what, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to be in this community, to have representation for us. And so right now, to me, it just seems like this is the time for compassion. This is the time for communities to pull together. Every Monday, I think it is, the mayor and the chief of police of Bronxville sends out correspondence to all residents and merchants saying that we're all in this together. We're all in this together. We're going to get through the other side. But to be honest, I don't feel like I'm a part of that anymore. I don't. When I went to my store on Friday and I had to go there yesterday for a moment, I don't really feel a part of the community much right now, only because of what's happening to me. And again, I'm not asking for a handout or anything like that, but I think that this is a time for landlords and tenants to work with each other. They've known me. They've seen me grow up. They've seen me grow up. They know they know this is, this means this is my life. This is my livelihood. So to me, to get that type of a letter 2 weeks after I'm being told that I'm going to have a lease renewal, to me, that just, no.
This grimy.
No. And this is the same person I gave his business life by expanding my business and taking on more of an expense, moving into a larger location. And it's the same person now, 12 years later, that is really essentially the one that is kicking me out. And I understand, I'm in arrears. I don't know any business right now that's not in arrears, but to just put me out in this way is no.
Right.
I can't.
AJ, hold on. Wait a minute.
That's me. That was me. My bad. There was noise in the background of my house and I muted myself, so it didn't interrupt. So I forgot. So you have a lawyer, and your lawyer has actually talked to their lawyer and tried to find a amicable way of solving this. And what was the response?
So Lauren Pracer is my attorney. She is wonderful, and she's been helping me along with me knowing what my rights are. I think this is kind of new to everybody, what we're all going through. So I really didn't know what my rights were. I mean, I know what the governor said, but anyway, in speaking with her, I sent her all the information, all the correspondence between me and the landlord's attorney. She contacted them right away before I was even on the news and before speaking with you guys. And she pretty much told them that this is illegal. You're not supposed to send out this type of correspondence. His attorney, she said, I want to give you the opportunity to retract what you sent to my client because you're not supposed to do this during this time. And he said he was not going to, and that they're not renewing my lease, and what they send is sticking. That's what the response was. But I would like you to speak to Lauren yourself, but that's
we're going to talk to her. We're going to talk to her. And also, one last thing that we didn't speak about. What has been your relationship with this community? I know I've seen a few things that you've done for the school district or whatever. What has been your relationship over 15 years for this community?
A beautiful relationship. I mean, to me, I just have that philanthropic, that's just who I am. So when I opened Weezie D, I wanted to bring that component of who I am to the store. So we do a lot of giving back. We do lots of Host for Hopes, I call it. I created a organization. It's called Host for Hope. Non-for-profit organizations would come in. We do different events with them. We donate back to them. I don't think there's any school in Bronxville that we have not donated to. I have a wonderful relationship with the community. And honestly, they're the reason why I've been in business for 15 years. It's the community, not just Bronxville, but it's Mount Vernon, it's Yonkers. I have customers in the Bronx. I have customers in Scarsdale. All over, they've been supportive. I have a great relationship with my clients. I mean, they're corresponding with me. They're sending me DMs on Instagram, and they're rooting for us. And it's not, like I said, it's not just Weezie D. It's hurtful to go to these small communities and see closing signs all over the place. It's sad to see what's going on. It really is. So yes, I have a great relationship with the community.
From what I understand, your customers include the mayor, Ruth Waters, which is the county legislator. Like you have.
Yes, absolutely. So the mayor, I shared an email that she sent to me yesterday. She sent me an email, a beautiful email, and I'm hoping that we get to speak later today. But yeah, she shopped in Weezie D. She did my ribbon cutting ceremony, Mayor Mary Marvin. So I have a relationship with pretty much the entire community. They all know me. It's not just about selling pretty clothes. Like, we do a lot for the community, and it's just hurtful to be treated in this way. It really is.
So in closing, I wanted to ask you these questions because I wanted to paint the full picture. I know the little article that I wrote that was like a teaser to the interview did not share the full picture of you and your business. You've been a successful business in this neighborhood, a staple in this neighborhood for 15 years. You've given back a lot to the community. You sometimes hire some young Black girls to work, as the conversation we had with the other person. You have your slow months, January, February, and so do we. And then, we usually make good, coming back, March, April. But this month, this year made that impossible for a lot of people. So it's not just, you're just sitting back on your laurels. You had a business that you couldn't sustain. I'm dealing with some of the comments that were there. This has been a vibrant, successful business for 15 years in this community. The only Black business of color in that area of Bronxville, which is amazing that you're in Bronxville. That's a whole other story, but I give you props for being in Bronxville. But
I just wanted to interject that, when you're not an entrepreneur and you're not in this type of business, it might seem simple to people, but it's a relationship that you have to have with your landlord. It really is. When I first opened, and the two attorneys that were my original landlords, we had a beautiful relationship. We had a partnership. It's not like I would just hide when things got tough, and we would communicate and they would help me along. They would never have kept me in Bronxville all this time if I was not a woman of my word. And that's the thing that people don't understand. It's not so cut and dry. Everyone falls on hard times. And you pick yourself up and you pay and you move along. But it is a partnership. That is the bottom line. 2019 was a horrific month. Also, Weezie D survived the recession in 2008. You think that was by myself? It was because my landlords helped us through it. So, a lot of people that are listening or hear my story, I've gotten some negative feedback. Well, if you owe money, that's the bottom line. You have to go. It's not that simple. Right. If that was the case, there would be no small businesses like Weezie D in the community. It's a partnership between the business owners, the landlords, and the community. So in my defense, That's what it is. And when you have a relationship and you always do the right thing, there should be something to be said about that.
So one last time, Damon gave put the link for the GoFundMe page. Tell everybody your website again and what's available on your website, and any last words, and then we're going to close out.
Thank you. So the website is www.weezied.com.
Spell it.
Yeah, so it's W for Walter, E for Edward, Z for Zebra, I for Isabel, E for Edward, D for David.com. Think of the Jeffersons, Weezie D. And I know that's really my name. That's what everyone calls me. And then the GoFundMe page is, if you search under Help Weezie D, you'll find our GoFundMe page as well.
So you're looking, and in closing, you're looking as an end story to just find a new location. Is that right? And pick your business. Continue building your brand. Somewhere else, because you're not wanted here. So is that where the end game is for you, or?
Yeah. So what I'm looking to do, what I would like the testimony to be, is that I find another location. Honestly, I would like to stay in the community because I've built my clientele for 15 years, and that's not small change to just pick up and move to another city. So I'd like to stay in Bronxville if I can. I'm also thinking about maybe instead of a storefront, maybe doing a showroom where the expenses are not so high, because once Cuomo allows us to open, it's not going to be the way it used to be. People are scared to shop. It's not going to be like, okay, everyone's just coming in to shop for a dress. So now that I know the situation, the real situation that I'm in, again, 2 weeks ago, I did not know this. Now that I know where I am, I'm thinking of pivoting myself in a different direction. And I'm also looking to put together a clothing line where I'm actually designing my clothing. So I'm pivoting in different ways, but this is also new to me. I mean, I just got this letter from my landlord last Wednesday, so I'm still processing everything and trying to figure it all out. But that is what I see for Weezie D. I mean, this is my brand. I've worked so hard. I have great relationships. I've done a lot of good work in the community, and I just want to continue to continue my brand and be a staple in Westchester, where I went through the whole public school system, elementary, middle school, high school, and I want to stay in Westchester. That's my goal.
Damon, any last words? And also welcome Reverend Norman from Yonkers and former Mount Vernon Comptroller Maureen Walker. And Ruth Waters is actually watching. Would you like to say something to her? She just checked in.
Yes.
The county legislator, yes.
Yes. Hi, Ruth. Thank you for your correspondence with me. Thank you for calling me and having a good conversation with me, and just for your compassion. She's not just a legislator, but she is a fellow business owner in Bronxville. So she wears two hats here, and it was good to talk with her and just to have someone kind of make me feel like I'm not alone. So thank you, Ruth. Thank you.
Damon, any last words?
Whatever we could do, we're here. Please keep us updated on what's going on and your responses from elected officials, and we're here to support. And those that are watching, that will be watching on YouTube, please go to the
BlackWestchester.com.
Right. If you could, whatever people can donate, it will be for a good cause. And whatever we could do, we're here, and you're gonna get through this. You're gonna, like my mother used to always say, it's just another bump in the road, right? And we'll get over this bump, and you'll be going down the road, and as life holds it, it might be another bump, but you're gonna get through this. I see it. We just gotta get you settled, and so we could get you out of there. But you have our support. You have our support. definitely.
Thank you. Thanks so much. It's definitely been an emotional. I mean, we didn't get to speak about this, but it's been an emotional roller coaster to say the least. Because in speaking to some of my customers, some of them we haven't even spoke about COVID, right? I mean, there's people that are sick. There's people that are dying. Some of them are my customers, and I know that our conversation is really about my landlord situation. But on a sidebar, some of my clients have been ill, and some have succumb to this illness. And so on top of everything else going on, this is just a sad time for all of us. You know, this is for all of us. So that's where the compassion comes in. That's where the caring comes in. That's where, you know, you help people through this. And so I'm disappointed on so many levels, to say the least. So I just wanted to include that.
Absolutely. I second what Damon said, and I've told you this before. This will be, on the other end of this will be a testimony for other young Black women going through this. You will be able to share your story and how you got through this. This will be that for you. I'm encouraging all of our listeners, all of our viewers who are so compelled to support this business. You know, hit the GoFundMe, find something online if you want to buy from the store. Let's see if we can help continue to build this business and support this business. You know, Black Westchester stands for supporting Black business. So I definitely wanted to do this and share this for people. This will be up on blackwestchester.com within a couple of hours. And anybody else, if you have comments or something, please feel free to leave them in the comment section on blackwestchester.com, and she will definitely see them. And that's it. I'm eager to see what the senator comes back with, or that conversation. I thank the senator for reaching out after our interview. Ruth Waters, whatever she's able to do, the mayor. I'm looking forward to talking to each of them individually. I will be in touch with Laura Razor to get the updates on everything. But we want to thank everybody else for tuning in. I wasn't able to mention all the comments and all the people, but as always, you could be doing anything else, but you decided to ride with us, and we greatly appreciate it. This is the Black Westchester Power Hour. We were live on WVOX 1460 from 11 to 12 every first Monday, and here on Facebook. Until next time, peace.
22 million Black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 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 And are not afraid to say it.